So you're all probably wondering, super curious, if this is all the blood that the liver will actually filter and process and pull nutrients from, where does the liver itself get blood supply from? We haven't mentioned that. From blood vessels, right. So we're actually going to color in a few more blood vessels. Because so all of the blood that's passing through here is blood that you work on, or the liver works on. The liver can't actually use that blood for itself. So we're actually going to use red finally to color in the hepatic artery, which will bring oxygenated blood for the liver cells to use. So using my red, that's that little artery right on top of the hepatic portal vein there. And it branches off just like the hepatic portal vein, so just make sure you have branches coming from all sides, entering into all sections of the liver. Basically just coloring in between the hepatic portal vein, I guess. So this is the hepatic artery. Because, you know, if you were working in like a factory line and let's say you were quality checking all of the Coca-Cola bottles that go by on the factory line, you're checking them, but are you allowed to drink them? No, if you want to drink them, you got to go get your own. So that's like the liver. It's processing all this blood, but it can't actually use any of that blood. It's just working on it. It has to have its own personal supply of blood, and that's where the hepatic artery comes in. So I'm going to use red down below. Oh, sorry, I forgot to label that. Go ahead and label the hepatic artery in red there, number 3. Yeah, right? It all makes sense. Yes. Color pencil problems. 3 is the hepatic artery. So this is going to be blood coming from the heart to the liver so that the liver can actually use it. So we're bringing oxygenated blood. Oops, I didn't use my abbreviation. Oh well. Bring oxygenated blood for the hepatic cells or liver cells. Your liver is composed up of millions of liver cells. In that little drawing, all of these little things here that you drew so meticulously, each one of those is a liver cell. They all need oxygen, so that's why the hepatic artery is going to come in, branch off into every section of the liver, and provide every single one of these cells with blood that has oxygen in it. However, there was a point of time in your life where you could not provide yourself with oxygen. When you were in the womb. Why could you not provide yourself with oxygen when you're in the womb?
Can't breathe.
You can't breathe because you're surrounded by liquids, by fluids. Yes. So when you're in the womb, you can't actually breathe. So how are you going to have oxygenated blood come from the artery? Where do you get your oxygen from?
Your mama.
Umbilical cord from the mother. So that's going to be our number 4. The catch, though, is when you're still a fetus, your umbilical cord actually connects straight to your liver. In this picture, if you look very, very carefully, there's actually a really light umbilical artery back there. See it?
You just drew that in.
No. Well, I'm also drawing it in, but you also draw it in. You should be able to see it. It's really, really tiny. And this used to connect all the way back to your umbilical cord. So currently, where's your liver? Do you guys remember? Right side, left side?
Right side. Right
On the right underneath your rib cage. Yes, inferior to the diaphragm. And the liver right there used to connect all the way back to your umbilical cord, which was
right here.
By your belly button. So there used to be a cord that went all the way back out to your belly button, but after the umbilical cord is cut, hopefully everybody's here is cut, the umbilical vein actually starts shriveling up and getting smaller and smaller. It doesn't really have a function after the umbilical cord is cut.
So it just recedes back to like the...
It just shrivels up, and then it you have this little tiny vestigial structure left over. Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be our number 4. So I'm going to put a little 4 there. And below I'm going to write number 4, the umbilical vein. And that's going to bring blood from the mother's placenta, which is the structure between the fetus and the mother. So this is what connects a baby to the mom, the placenta, all the way to the fetus's liver. And this umbilical vein, while you're in the womb, will bring oxygen for the hepatic cells. To use while in the womb. Even though you're not able to breathe your own oxygen while in the womb, you still need to use oxygen. That's where you'll have to rely on the mother for. And the mother's oxygen goes in through her respiratory system, through her lungs, back to her heart, down to the placenta, and then into the fetus's liver. So that's actually all the pathway of blood, but we still have this other function of the liver. What is it that the liver produces again? Bile. So I'm going to skip a line and I'm going to write bile pathway. And bile is that kind of gross, icky, slimy stuff that after you have food poisoning, you throw up all the food and then you throw up some more, and then after that you throw up even more, and then you're out of food but you keep throwing up anyways, and at some point you get this like yellow, green, slimy stuff. Yes, that's bile. And you're probably like, wait, if bile is made in the liver, how did it make its way out of the digestive system? There has to be a connection, a physical connection, and that's the pathway that we're going to color in. Back to this drawing real quick. So the hepatic cells, all the cells lining the sinusoids here, they make bile, secrete it into this pathway. Do you guys have arrows going in the opposite direction of blood? Yes? That's the direction that bile will travel through. Notice that bile will travel down the bile canal and then finally out the bile duct. And then all of the bile ducts merge together to form this larger duct out here. So our next term we can't really label in this picture since it's in this microstructure image right here. These are the bile canals. So I'm actually going to use my green pen. And I'm going to write figure 1730. And the bile canals are also often called the canaliculi. I'm going to, in parentheses, put bile canal. And these will collect bile that's secreted by the hepatic cells or the liver cells. Canaliculi. Similar. So the canaliculi just refers to like a little canal or a little pathway. Yeah, we learned about it in Haversian systems too. It's like the pathway between the two osteocytes, the two bone cells. Yeah. But again, once the bile flows through the canaliculi, it dumps into the bile duct right here. So we're going to add bile duct. The bile ducts you can actually see in this image. So I'm going to use green. And this is going to be kind of tricky. Here's where you for sure need to follow along. You definitely have a bile canal or duct right here. It does split into the right side, kind of hard to color here, and also the left side. So make sure you have a right side and a left side for your bile ducts. And then from there, just make sure you have branches going out into every section of the liver. So make sure for your bile you have a pathway to every single section of the liver, and specifically a left and right side to the bile ducts. So I'm going to use my black pen to label number 5. I'm going to go ahead and label this bile duct over here, number 5. And below I'm going to write number 5 in green. These are our bile ducts. And the bile ducts pretty much just collect all the bile from the canaliculi. So all the bile from the canaliculi dump into the bile ducts. All the bile ducts all throughout the liver merge together to form 2 main hepatic ducts. So as you guys can see, a lot of branches, they all merge together to form either the right or the left branch. So I'm going to draw a line to the right and the left branches. So right here is the right hepatic duct. So I'm going to draw a line here. And then you have all of the hepatic bile ducts from the left side of the liver merged together to form the left bile duct. So I'm going to draw a forked label there to the right and the left hepatic bile ducts. So all the bile ducts from the right side of the liver merge together to form the right hepatic duct. All the bile ducts from the left side of the liver merge together to form the left hepatic duct. And I'm going to label that number 6. And then down below, I'm going to go ahead and write 6. Right and left hepatic duct. Kind of like the bile duct, it collected all the bile from the canaliculi. The right and left hepatic ducts, they just collect all the bile from the bile ducts. So the canaliculi dump all the bile into the bile ducts dump all the bile into the right or left hepatic ducts, depending on which side of the liver they're coming from. So just merging pathways, okay? All right, and I think we're okay for today.